Hello, hello. Oh, I think.
Hello,
Aha,
hello.
now we can hear
You
you.
muted me.
Beautiful Friday again. Last week we said we're not going to do Friday every time, but today it is
Yeah,
amazing Friday.
yeah. Looks like that's our go-to time because everyone's trying to wind down for the week, which means that we're not getting um, phone calls where people freaking out and trying to get stuff done.
Yeah. And we can share most of the week because we have done the weekend, so there are more insights coming on Fridays than on Mondays.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, what's for the weekend first and foremost? As we're chit-chatting for the next 3 minutes.
I have gotten back into video games, which I actually really enjoy. It is the
What?
easiest. It is the easiest way to instantly switch your focus. You know how
Wow.
sometimes
Okay.
when you work a lot, etc., like when you go to bed, it's like it's hard to switch off.
Yeah.
And when you're in a computer game, you instantly have all your attention in the game. I usually play like RPG like role playing games,
Yeah.
and because all your senses need to be present so that you don't get killed or so that nothing happens. Um,
Oh man.
and I found this really effective to just like instantly switch
That
off.
is so tempting. Look, my wife would know this, right? I haven't been a gamer all my life,
Yeah,
but there was a period of time where you play games for fun and whatnot, but you
yeah,
get to a point where you feel like you're wasting a lot of time.
yeah,
So before I got married, I basically just completely shut down the gaming side of my world,
yeah,
and I have not picked up any game. Like even for the
yeah,
little mobile games and stuff, I know some of them are good and everything,
yeah,
right? But it's just like I don't know. This is just my nature, and you've worked with me long enough to probably pick that up. Now, once I get into something, I get really obsessive,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and I just don't want to go there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my wife keeps me on track to not play too much, but she actually she asked me what are things that you like really enjoy where you can switch off. And I said the PlayStation, and so I've been playing a bit on weekends, and so that's something I'm gonna do tomorrow, and feel
Oh
completely
wow.
guilt free about it.
Oh wow, that's and how long do you not like what in a sitting? Like how long are you sitting for 2 hours, an hour, or
Well, it's typically when Adam goes to bed, so anywhere between 12 and 3 is my window, and so
Oof,
probably 2 hours maybe.
wow.
Yeah. But I could easily
It
play
is
for 8 hours straight, like no problem.
it is and have you like in the past was that your thing like video games?
Not hugely. I've never liked online games,
Yeah.
so I like being fully drenched into a like an adventure story.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So never done like the online, Counter Strike and stuff. Um, I've got like seasons where I'm like, hey, I've got a new game. I need to play 20 hours a week, and then I just punch it out, and then I don't play for 6 months.
Yeah.
It's more like a
Yeah.
quick burst of addiction.
Stimulation. Oh
Yeah,
wow. What's the game that you're playing?
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. Oh yeah, yeah. I played that one back in my day.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the new ones are, like really, really good.
Well,
And I like that story as well, Assassin's Creed.
mm,
So,
yeah, yeah,
man, oh my
yeah.
goodness.
I think you have a busy weekend with your family. Always Saturdays is
Yes, there's always something on. We've got netball game tomorrow, and then we're shopping for new floorboards. So
nice.
that'll be interesting. Anyway, I'm in a very quirky room with quirky lighting today. So, but my face is not the most important thing anyway. So let's get into
And I
it.
shaved my head especially for this live stream.
Oh wow, okay, you've actually done
No,
something.
no, it's just
Okay,
my
well,
Friday ritual.
I think last week when we did our live stream, there was something that we planned on talking about but ran out of time, and that has something to do with your favorite topic, uh,
AI.
AI being your favorite topic, or actually everybody's favorite topic these
Yeah,
days.
it's just a hot
Um,
topic. Yeah,
it is a hot topic. So, well, why don't we start there before we get into our live exercise?
yeah.
Yeah, what have you discovered in the AI world that was probably still relevant last week, but probably not so relevant this week anymore, given how fast? things
It
change.
does change all the time, and I find it always interesting how there are so many opinions floating around about AI, and a lot
Mm.
of people say, "Oh, we use AI, etc." But there are only a handful of people that are actually creating AI, I think, and everyone
Yeah.
else is piggybacking off that.
Yeah.
But in terms of something that I've noticed that is reasonably new is that in ChatGPT, there's the ability now to search the web. Prior
Mm.
to that, there was ChatGPT or the OpenAI was trained on a set of information that went to a
Yep.
certain time, and
Yep.
now they can search live information.
Hmm.
And I just had this thought, and we don't talk too much about SEO, and we're not massive SEO fans. I believe in SEO. I think it's great, and I think it has its place. But I think it's also a little bit outdated to some extent. AI is definitely, putting a wrench in the whole SEO game. But
Mm.
now that Google also started to show generative search results.
Hmm.
Now OpenAI is showing generative search results, that your clicks to your website are getting less and less, and some of them will be referrals from OpenAI or other AI sources. And it
Hmm.
just showed that yes, you can invest a lot of money and resources into SEO, etc., and bring people to site from different sources. But information alone, and that's often what SEO heavy pages are, information alone is actually not that valuable anymore because it's accessible, you know, anytime, anywhere, and more through these AI search engines.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think, and I might be biased again, but running targeted campaigns with a specific message to solve a particular problem for a particular audience will always outscale SEO efforts, I think.
Yeah.
And you have a lot more control about it.
Yeah.
To put heaps of efforts in that land in some OpenAI search and nobody's actually clicking through to your site because they get the information that they need already.
Mm.
Information alone is not gonna cut it anymore.
That's really interesting, right? I do want to do a little experiment, which I will share my screen a little bit later.
Yeah,
And again, I come in completely blind. I could be completely right or completely wrong, right? But just going back to the whole topic of SEO, this is always my explanation to people coming to us asking about, SEO and all that sort of stuff, right? You can rank number one. You can sort of like hack the Google machine into ranking number one, which means that you've got a fat website with lots of information, lots of keywords, and you do it lots of backlinks, and you
yeah,
can either tap into others people's website to get referrals and stuff. It's a big effort. It takes a tremendous amount of time. It's
yeah,
somewhat unpredictable, but most SEO heavy websites, and you can probably attest to that, Ori, are unreadable or are not
unhuman.
custom. Yeah, not really customized for human connection or human
Yeah,
communication, right?
yeah,
You've got loads and loads and pages of information there, but you you can't just simply articulate, okay, what problems are you solving? How are you going to come in and help me win the day? And
yeah,
what do I
yeah,
do? Those fundamentals in
yeah,
SEO heavy websites, you usually don't see them. So yes, yeah, you hack your, you're successful in ranking number one in
yeah,
certain keywords, and you bring all this free traffic into your website. But how many of these free traffic are actually going to
yeah,
turn into customers? So yeah, you can acquire all the traffic in the world, but it is at the end of the day is the conversion that matters
yeah,
as well,
yeah,
right? So I agree with you. I am not a huge fan of SEO. I don't hate it. I see the value of it if you have the right strategies in place and you actually know what you're paying for or what you're doing and the effect of it. But at the end of the day, you want your website or any of your communication to have the basic communication fundamentals, and largely around
yeah,
what problems you're solving and what you
yeah.
want people to do on your website.
I like SEO is a big topic, and there's on-site, off-site, technical, etc. We don't really talk about technical SEO. That's your H1, H2 tags and having your
Yeah,
meta description and being optimized for speed. They are all given. Like you should,
yeah,
of course, you should have that stuff. I think we
yeah.
mainly talk about like using SEO for content marketing.
Mm,
Where it makes sense is if your title is answering a certain question.
mm,
Um, someone might be searching how do I fix a plumbing pipe in my
Mm.
bathroom or something,
Yeah.
and then if your title is how to fix a plumbing pipe in your bathroom,
Mm.
then yes,
Mm.
you will probably rank for that, and you will answer this question. That's one way to bring traffic to your site, but is this actually really effective,
Yeah.
to just give out that information if
Yep.
your page is not actually, capturing leads or capturing contact information, selling your
Yep.
services to some extent?
Yep.
Then yeah, congratulations, you've got a visitor on your site, but
Yeah.
it's not really helping your marketing efforts too much.
Absolutely. I want to do an experiment,
Yeah.
and this could go both ways. So I'm just going to share my screen quickly,
Okay.
and then I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Can you see my screen?
One sec. Let me just. Let's try this. Yes. Now we can see a screen.
Okay, awesome. All right. So I've got ChatGPT on with the search function on, which
Nice.
means that theoretically, it is going to search the entire internet and give me the answer that I want, right? So, just for the fun of it, I want to go. I live in just pick any suburb in
Well, let's
Sydney.
do. We can do Nashville since we went to Nashville.
Okay,
Do you
all
want
right.
something local?
Okay, so I live in Nashville, Tennessee,
Yeah.
and I have a block toilet. Give me, well, no, actually, let's do a suburb specific thing, right? So, I don't want to give away where we live, but okay, let's just say Logan, Queensland, right?
Yeah.
And I have a block toilet. Give
Yeah.
me three um, companies that can solve my problem uh, within the next 24 hours. Okay?
Hmm.
Actually, I'll go more specific. Search the internet, and give me. All right.
This is a marketer typing. Three
Okay.
companies
All
within the
right.
next
So
24
we've got
hours.
three companies, right?
Yeah.
S and J, AJP, and Blue Line Plumbing. Okay. So I'm gonna go on Google now to
Yeah.
see. I'm gonna go blocked toilet Logan, Queensland. Okay. Let's see what the results are.
We can see that.
Okay. So we've got service experts, we've got LWP plumbing, we've got Easy Care, Full Flow. Okay, so obviously the top ones here are all sponsored ads, and then
Mhm.
now we get into SEO territory, right? So we've got Full Flow Plumbing, we've got Block Drain Logan, we've got Purity Plumbing, yada yada yada, right? Which I don't think was listed in any of our answers from here.
Mm.
Okay, interesting, isn't it? So, what do you make of that?
That is interesting. Now, remember when I said at the beginning, your traffic, if you go to Google Analytics, your traffic source will be more referrals.
Mm,
So you might spend money on Google Ads, or like you might spend money on SEO, etc. But
mm.
it's not going to show this comes through this from this blog. This comes from the
Yep,
journey would just be referrals, referrals, referrals.
yep,
And so my prediction would be in a context that your traffic acquisition will be more difficult to track.
absolutely. And because this search behavior is definitely changing, like I'm just speaking personally,
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT most of the time when I'm trying to look for something instead of
Mm.
Google. And I
Yeah.
think we can, point to stats and all that sort of stuff. And some people would also argue for Gen Z, for the younger
Mhm.
generation, social media is the new Google, right?
Yeah.
So I think to put it in perspective for a lot of people will think that, oh, I'm killing it in SEO, and I should, and that's all I'm doing in my marketing,
Yeah.
and that's completely wrong because there's only one platform, one tactic
Mm.
that you're deploying. You got to look at marketing as a whole and to really think through who's your target
Yeah.
audience, what problems you're solving, and what are the platforms that you should harness on, not only singular platform, but how do you go about having more coverage as
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and what if, the search behavior changes again by the time that your SEO campaign is finally bringing traffic in? Because it just takes time, doesn't it?
Exactly. So that little example there, was a perfect example that for someone like me who doesn't use Google a lot
Yeah,
or at all, when I have a problem, I go to ChatGPT and go, "Hey, I've got a blocked toilet. Show me who are the companies who can,
yeah,
solve a problem within
yeah,
20." Like all of the people who are running ads and all of the people who are paying fancy SEO
mm,
agencies, $2,000 a month to optimize their SEO are not even listed.
yeah,
So what do you make of that?
yeah. And I mean, what if OpenAI will introduce sponsored search results?
Oh, mate, I have no doubt. Look,
Yeah, well, it's a given.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Like these guys, anyone who's got a powerful platform, like
Yeah,
Meta or Facebook started as the most genuine thing for
yeah,
people to connect, right? But now they've turned themselves into a massive advertising machine,
yeah.
and I have no doubt in my mind that OpenAI or whoever comes
Mm,
next will monetize this, and
yeah.
marketers would go after it.
So I use YouTube Premium so to not get any ads because I watch a lot of YouTube. I was watching a YouTube video at a friend's place the other day on TV, and he didn't have YouTube Premium. The
Mm.
amount of ads that were coming after every 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is unbearable. Bloody marketers.
You're part of the problem, Ori. You and
Uh,
we're the part of the problem.
yeah, because we watch that stuff and we
Yeah,
make it.
okay.
Yeah,
Good, good. All right. Well, I think that was a really good discussion on SEO. Let's now move on to something a little bit more practical, where we work on a live project together. Now,
let's do it.
I have come across with a contact who's trying to get a startup off the ground. He's currently a friend, not a client, so
Yeah.
there's no conflict of interest there. But I happened to spend a little bit of time last night just dreaming up some copy for a potential landing page or potential
Mhm.
homepage
Yeah.
for what he does. So I want to verbalize those things, and you've got a fancy AI tool to plug everything in. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do it simultaneously while you talk to me, and
Mm.
then we'll see where that goes.
Did you want to share?
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So this tool is called Reloom. Shout out to the Luma community and Reloom people. I'm a big fan. They basically help you to create a sitemap in a wireframe in an instance of minutes. And I think what would be cool, we create a small wireframe, and then you can export that and send it to your contact.
Mhm.
And hopefully that's better than some scribble on your Remarkable pad.
That is exactly where I'm reading out of,
Of
right?
course.
I love my Remarkable and I swear by it. You
That's
can
good.
go all fancy with AI. I'm sticking with the manual tool.
Good for you.
Okay, all right. Where do you want to start?
So I always start with a small company description. What's the target audience? What problem do they solve? And what are the sections that you want on your page?
Okay. I may flip the conversation just slightly. Let me
Yeah.
just pull up my notes quickly. Let's just not give away the business name and too much context.
Okay.
Let's just say ABC Vertical Gardens.
Yeah.
So this contact of mine is looking to start a vertical garden company.
Yeah.
Now, for most people wouldn't understand what a vertical garden is, right? So, basically, what vertical gardens is an alternative to wall art
Yeah.
or paint jobs. Okay, so basically, a feature wall that you can have in any space with living plants. Okay, and that's usually that you would mostly see that stuff in high luxury housing
Yeah.
or commercial spaces and hospitals and commercial buildings and stuff like that, right? So it's pretty fancy. Uh, a feature wall with living plants. We've all seen that before, but
Yeah.
apparently it's a
Yeah.
vertical garden.
Well, I've seen a lot of artificial plant ones.
Artificial, yeah. So
Yeah.
artificial plants, yes, yeah, in a lot of cafes and stuff, but
Yeah.
we're talking about living plants
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Cool.
I guess the problem that they solve is this is a alternative to it for any household or any space. Because when it comes to dressing up a wall, most of the
Yeah.
time you're thinking, okay, we'll go and buy some painting or
Yeah.
wall art,
Yeah.
or we'll apply, we'll go and hire a painter and repaint with different colors and textures and stuff like that, right? So this is definitely an upgrade
Yeah.
uh, feature wall to really have that wow factor, or what we would call a statement piece, right? So in interior design world, people want to make a statement
Yeah.
with in homes. You probably want to walk into a living plan wall to have that wow factor, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I
So
think I think that's enough to just give a general direction. Just
mhm.
quickly, what is the purpose of the site? Is it just a marketing site and book a call is the call to action?
Yeah.
What do you
So
want people to do?
okay. So what we're hypothesizing at the moment with
Yeah.
this friend of mine is that um, in order to get it across the line, like I think one of the problems that people um, are very slow to make these purchasing decision
Yeah.
because vertical garden is such a foreign concept for a lot of people. A lot of people haven't even thought about it, right?
Yeah.
So they don't know how it's going to look eventually, because to them it's like taking a risk. Like I know
Yeah.
what painting is, I know what buying wall art is, but
Yeah.
if I'm taking a risk to pay good money for living plans, right?
Yeah.
I've got to make sure, I'm confident about how it's going to look and the maintenance and all that sort of stuff, right? So, so
To me,
what?
it screams maintenance. Yeah, that's the first thing that
Yeah,
pops up.
absolutely, absolutely, right. So there are two objectives here, basically, right?
Yeah.
How is it going to look, and then the maintenance of it going forward, right?
Yeah.
So to solve the first thing, what we are hypothesizing is if you take a picture of your wall, we are
Yeah.
going to give you a visual design, a 3D visual design within 24 hours. So that would be sort of the call to action, or what we would call the transitional call to action, or a lead magnet, right?
Yeah.
But the main call to action would be scheduling for an on-site design session.
Yeah.
So
And
instead of a
online.
design, instead of a quote,
Yeah.
which sounds very tradey,
Yeah.
you they definitely want to position the business as more interior design, landscape design, more
Yeah.
elegant sounding, right? So, schedule an on-site design session. Uh, that will be my suggestion,
Yeah.
and then we can have the lead magnet or the transitional call to action to go get a 3D wall design within
Yeah.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Got it. And what is the like? Who would buy that stuff? Who is this for?
Okay. So this
Office
is what gets
managers in interior design, like big offices.
yeah. So this is what gets really interesting, right?
Yeah.
Uh, One of the things that I really like, what my friend is trying to achieve, is he is on a mission to make um, vertical gardens accessible to every household and space in
Yeah.
Australia,
Yeah.
right? To really lower that, what do you call it, that entry point,
Yeah.
right? Because, and again, when you think about vertical gardens and whatnot, you're thinking about really expensive, really big projects and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where the vision for this company is for every middle class household to be able to afford and assess. They may not always do it, right?
Yeah.
But they'll be able to afford and assess, an alternative to dressing up the wall,
Hmm.
right? So that's the target audience. It's basically your middle class homeowners, obviously not renters, but homeowners who wouldn't mind spending not a fortune, but a little bit of money to make a statement
Yeah.
uh, in their house.
So anyone with an empty wall and some spare change?
Hmm. Yep. And I use the analogy of Bunnings.
Yeah.
Because I think what Bunnings has done really well over the past few years is to make a lot of things accessible.
Mm.
Obviously with the cost, like cost of living going up, but the actual building materials
Yeah.
themselves, like I'm going through a massive reno at home at the moment, and I buy
Mm.
everything at Bunnings, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it works out to be quite affordable, and also, is Yeah, it's just really retail friendly now with
Yeah.
Bunnings. It used to
Yeah.
be all tradies and dirty and but they've made the whole experience very retail
Mm.
friendly now, and they've
Yeah.
actually got now got kitchen design and
Mm.
like you can actually go walk into Bunnings, talk to someone over the counter,
Yeah.
design your kitchen, and then they supply and install,
Yeah.
and you've got that confidence because it's Bunnings,
Yeah.
and secondly they've made the entire pricing model and the experience very retail friendly, right?
Mm.
Which I think contributes to a lot of their success.
Yeah.
So I think with this vertical garden company, with that, these are some of the
Yeah.
lessons that we learn from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But would your friend's goal be to kind of be like a household brand in Bunnings,
I
or more
I
like
don't know.
to?
Look, it's a startup, right? So
Yeah.
we can go anywhere with this, but I
Yeah.
think what's clear is that he's designing his products or making his products in a way that is retail
Yeah.
friendly and is very accessible, almost off the shelf, so that we don't have to go through the hoops of different designers and builders and architects and all that.
Yeah.
Whereas the actual end user can make the decision.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. So because a lot of products, they're so particular or custom that you have to go through professional to actually get it.
absolutely. Yeah,
Any
yeah,
end user. Okay.
yeah.
Cool. So quickly, what are the 5 to 7 sections that you want on the site?
Obviously, we want to have a hero section,
Yeah.
clearly articulates what they do, what problems they
Yeah.
solve. And then we probably want to have, I've written some copy, right? So
Yeah.
what I've got here is a problem section and then maybe a product. So the guide, well, what we would say the solution or the guide section would be more about the product. So what is the actual product? How much?
Yeah.
And what does the solution look like, right?
Yeah.
And then we would have a how it works section,
Maybe a
and
gallery and how it
gallery,
works.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
gallery, and then some sort of final call to
Call to
action.
action. Okay. Yeah, that's enough. All right. So what this will do, I've given it the site prompt. I can say how many pages I want, etc. So it's going to
Mhm,
generate the sitemap in just a moment. We're only looking at the homepage, so we don't have to worry too much about the other pages here.
mhm,
So now that we have the homepage, we can be more specific on the homepage, but because we only have one page, it doesn't matter too much. We can now jump to the wireframe, and it's going to
Wow.
generate.
So it's all done in split seconds.
It's generating everything for us. Okay. Transform your walls with living art. Well,
Right. Okay.
sounds
All right.
ambitious.
Now this is really interesting, right? Um, so do I just tell you what I've written and we go from there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my copy. So the AI is suggesting transform your walls with living art. So it's definitely a bit off-brand because we're not selling art, right?
Mhm.
Transforming your wall is great, right? But the copy that I've got is create a stunning feature wall with living plants.
Yeah, that sounds much better. Let's see. Make it more success driven with a headline that. Okay, let's just see what this comes up with. Yeah, it's very AI-ish.
Yeah.
Make a statement with.
So no. So create create a
Yeah.
stunning feature wall
Yeah.
with living plants.
Yeah.
Now the temptation here would be create a stunning feature wall with a vertical garden,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas not a lot of people understand what a vertical garden is, right?
Mm.
So we're using the word living plants because people understand. So it's not fake plants, it's not
Yeah.
artificial plants, it's living plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
And obviously the picture, if we, the picture will articulate a lot of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the subheader now
Yeah.
will be make a statement in any space with a vertical garden. Now I don't love that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what AI does. Elevate your space with our stunning vertical gardens and breathe life into any room. Experience the. I like the breathe life into any room, but it sounds a bit clever. Experience the beauty of nature indoors and make a bold statements with our unique feature walls.
Okay, so I like that actually. Make a bold statement. in your space.
Yeah.
What is it again? Experience the beauty of nature. Okay, so make a state. Make what is it again?
Well, so the first sentence I think we can get rid of.
What I like is the nature in the indoors.
Yeah. Experience the beauty of nature indoors and make a bold statement or unique feature
Okay,
walls.
so why don't we do that? Make a bold statement in your space by bringing nature indoors.
Statement. Make bold statements with your walls by
No, make a bold statement in your space
space by bringing
by
by
bringing
breathing
by
bringing
well
nature
by bringing nature indoors.
indoors.
Look, I what I had was make a statement in your space with a vertical garden. Maybe, yeah, maybe vertical garden is more appropriate because it is the product that we're selling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of bringing nature indoor, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now this I find classic. Learn more and get started are the worst call to actions you could ever use. We always joke you
yep,
don't start a date like that.
amen.
Want to get started? Um,
Yep. Okay,
so yeah.
so my call to action would be schedule an on-site design session.
Or get your free wall mock-up within 24 hours.
Yeah, so what I
Or
got is get a 3D wall design within 24 hours.
and you can then just put it in some AI software, AI tool. Cool. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right. So let's go to the problem section. That's probably all we have time for. Maybe
Yeah.
after that we'll move on to the three-step plan because
Yeah.
so say goodbye to boring walls forever. Okay, is not a bad start. Um, what what I got was wall arts and paint jobs are not enough to give your room the wow factor.
Mm.
Wall arts and paint jobs are not
Not enough to
to give your room the wow factor. Yeah.
so. Yeah,
So
I
that
like
was
that.
the yeah, that was
Yeah.
the thing that I came up
And
with.
and it's
Yep.
beautiful. It implies hey, you want someone to come into your space and be like, "Whoa, this is nice."
Yep. Absolutely.
And
And we're
everyone has
address
seen wall art and paint on a wall.
and we're also assuming that already assuming that we're talking about walls.
Yeah.
Right? We're addressing the two most obvious alternatives, which is wall art and paint jobs,
Yeah.
and we're already directly addressing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I have something else for the three-step plan. Let's just see what the AI has given us.
I think same headline here. Schedule your design session. Choose your planet selection. Oh, planet selection, not planet.
Yeah.
Receive your custom mockup. Well, that's a transitional call or transitional result.
Mm. Okay. So yeah, I don't mind transferring a space with living walls or with a vertical garden. Now,
Yeah.
what I got was so this is how it works. Um, I would go step one, get a 3D design of your feature wall within 24 hours, right? Which means that regardless of us coming to you or your inquiry, one of the first thing that you're going to get from us
Yeah.
is a 3D design. And then the second step is we will supply and install your vertical garden within 7 working days at one fixed cost, right? So obviously this is too long and we can work
Yeah.
that into the small copy and everything, but basically that's the value that people are getting.
Yeah.
We will supply and install in 7 days at one fixed cost. And then thirdly, we will and then the thing that you were talking about in the start was the maintenance of it, right? So we will
Yeah.
maintain your vertical garden for 12 months and give you an easy DIY plan going forward or something.
Easy DIY plan to keep them, not keep them
Um,
alive, thriving.
keep them, what do you call it? Keep the plants thriving or something,
Yeah.
vibrant or whatever. Yeah.
You don't want to say keep them alive. That sounds
Yeah, exactly. It
very.
sounds more like survival.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that would be my copy. You get a 3D design, we'll install in 7 days, and then we'll maintain it for 12 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's
Cool.
all I've got. But I think oh, okay. So it's just one thing, right? So if you zoom in again, and this is probably the last thing that we're gonna talk about. If you zoom in and then scroll down to the copy somewhere around there, yeah. Now, transform a space with stunning vertical gardens for every wall. Now, this can be a space where we can play a little bit of guide and
Hmm.
say, our mission is to make vertical gardens accessible for every household in Australia,
Hmm.
right? Um, again, most of the time, I'm not a huge fan to talk about our mission, blah blah. But this is a statement that they're making to say that whatever that we do in our business, our mission
Yeah.
or our job is to make it accessible for every
Yeah.
household. So
Hmm.
if you're someone who's just a middle class person living in an apartment or a unit or something, this
Yeah.
is not out of reach for you.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
not a luxury item. This is a day-to-day design choice that you can make for your space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's like, it's not just about them, because it's cool for me that someone is trying to make it, or like, if I'm into that, it's nice that somebody is like dedicated to make it
yeah,
available to me.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I got. What do you
Cool.
think overall?
I really like the problem statement. Um, Again, because it implies, hey, you want a nice space, you want people to like your space when they visit you,
Yeah,
um, and it's not the typical, have a nice wall. It's like it has
yeah.
a
Say
bit
goodbye
bit
to
more.
boring walls.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a deeper meaning behind it,
Yeah.
and also this, hey, everyone wants to enjoy, where they live, where they around,
Mm,
and that I really like how you phrase that.
yeah, good.
That's probably my favorite section
Yeah,
or part.
awesome. That's good.
Let's
Okay, all
quickly
right.
jump
Well,
into
that's
here. We can, um, put a bit of color into it. Can't really
okay.
change.
Oh, you can actually do that. Can you do that quickly to see?
Um, oh,
Oh, wow,
actually,
there you go.
the thing is, this is all in beta. This is brand new, so I can't change the images too much.
Okay.
It's just a set of images, but I
But can you give
can.
it prompts? Can you give it prompts to?
No, not yet. It's all coming. It's literally like a couple of days old,
Wow.
but it's all
Okay.
happening.
So you can
Um,
actually build a stunning website in seconds,
yeah, of
or
course.
have a mock up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so good,
Export, paste into Webflow, and click publish.
mate.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's coming. It's
I
coming.
will I will export this for you, and then you can share it with your friend.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay, all right. Now, there's one last thing. We're probably running a little bit over time, but there's one last thing that I'd just love to talk about.
Yeah,
Um, so I spend a lot of time, not a lot of time, but I do pay attention to business news and what's happening in the economy and everything,
yeah,
that sort of stuff, right? So one news that I came across, which is quite interesting from a marketer, is that Woolies. So for those of you who are watching in Australia, you know what Woolies is, but if not, if you're watching from overseas, this is one of our biggest, if not the biggest, supermarket chain in Australia. Woolworths used to be called Safeway, um, and they have reported a 5% decline in the sales for the last 6 months,
ooh,
while their e-commerce has actually increased by 23%.
wow.
Okay,
So
so
like the
they're
online food deliveries.
yep. Those
Yeah,
so they are sorry, their profits, not their sales, right? So
yeah,
their profits has declined 5%, which means
Yeah.
that they're not making as much money. As a result, I'll probably won't say it's the direct results
Yeah.
because there's so many things, right?
Yeah.
But one of the factors is that they're actually killing it in e-commerce.
Mm.
So 23% increase in e-commerce, and we're talking about tens of millions of dollars here in e-commerce sales, resulting in 5% decline in profitability. Okay, so all that to say, and their share price has actually dropped based on that news, 6%, right? Which is about $85 million
Mm.
in loss, right? We're talking about huge
Wow.
dollars. Right? So it's really interesting because we do in our line of work we do come across a lot of e-commerce
Mm.
people, and obviously the last gig that you had, you specifically deal with um, e-commerce
Yeah.
people, but
Yeah.
e-commerce is actually really tough. It's
Mm.
tough business from a money making point of view. Yes,
Yes.
you can say to the world that we've 10x our ROI and we're now a seven
Yeah.
figure e-commerce business and everything, but the cost is, well,
Mm.
one, the margins is so thin, and secondly, the cost for fulfillment
Yeah.
is just through the roof, right?
Well, inventory is a nightmare for any
Inventories,
business.
yeah, okay. So we can talk about all the things
Yeah.
that can go wrong
Yeah.
within e-commerce, right? Well, number one, the margins are super thin, right? You'll be lucky to make a 10 to 20% margin on your products, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And secondly, the fulfillment, the cost of fulfilling.
Mm.
If you're fulfilling yourself, there's huge overheads in having a warehouse and having staff and everything. If you outsource it, that's a good thing, but it's still a lot of cost there, and the acquisition, the sales acquisition. So ad
Yeah.
costs are going up. Like I think compared to about 5 years ago, Meta ads and Facebook ads has gone 10 times the cost,
Wow.
right?
Wow. Yeah.
So ad acquisition, is you could be selling products at a loss, right? So
Yeah.
you can be a seven-figure e-commerce business, but every
I
product that you
figured that.
sell, yeah, but every product that you sell, you're losing $20.
Yeah.
So you do the
Yeah.
math, right? So yeah, so it's just really interesting. Even big companies like Woolies, 20, yeah, great,
Yeah.
23% increase in e-commerce, but 5%
Mm.
decline in profitability and share prices.
Mm.
So yeah, go figure.
Yeah. But you know who would love that? Shopify and all the credit card companies, because
Oh
they just
yes,
take a chip on everything.
yeah, and what's really interesting is Shopify, and that was the news that I heard today. Shopify has a massive uptick in their share prices and profitability,
Mm.
right? Because they are the big shark who has now created an ecosystem for e-commerce trade,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And those, so the big platforms, they're definitely making money,
Yeah.
but if you're in the e-commerce space, trading in the e-commerce business
Mhm.
is. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's
Yeah.
just tough. It's tough.
So, but the problem with service-based businesses is they are typically so labor-intensive.
Mm. Yep, it
But
is.
I mean, you can't get around working. Like you still have to put some labor in
Exactly.
someone.
Well, I think it gets a little bit philosophical, right?
Yeah.
Because the thinking behind e-commerce is, oh, you can just scale this thing
Mm.
infinitely, right? And
Yeah.
and you can just sit on the beach and collect money and yada yada
Mm.
yada, right? I mean, we all get the dream,
Yeah.
but most things in life are not scalable,
Mm.
right? And I think the book that we were reading, Unreasonable
Yeah.
Hospitality, and we went to Nashville, heard the guy
Yeah.
speak and everything. And one of the takeaway statements that I had from him was, do unscalable things,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
unscalable things in business, and that's how you create a unforgettable customer
Mm.
experience. But
Yeah.
how do you strike the balance, right?
Yeah. I often have this thought, or I picture myself in the future being more successful than I am now. And
Mm.
then I'm like, yeah, but firstly, I wouldn't be any happier. Secondly, I would still be working, because when your success scales, so do your problems.
Yeah,
Um, and so that doesn't really solve the issue.
yeah.
And I'm reading the War of Art at the moment.
Mm, mm.
Fascinating, and
Oh,
he's
amazing book.
it's so strong on, you just have to put in the work, you know,
Oh yeah,
resist the resistance, and
yeah.
just shut up and do your work.
Yep, is the repetition.
Yeah.
Is the repetition, right? Like, look, both of us are really into fitness, right?
Yeah.
And bodybuilding or fitness is not scalable.
No.
You don't work out for 3 months. You're gonna have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's just how life works sometimes.
Yeah. And it gets
Yeah,
harder as the older you get. So
absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, enough philosophical talks.
yeah.
So I hope that was helpful. Whoever is watching now and watching afterwards, yeah, and feel free again. Well, I'm not going to talk too much about the workshop today because we are literally 95% filled.
No,
So
we are full now.
oh, we are
We're,
full.
we're
Okay,
actually
so you
full.
can't sign up. Okay,
Well,
so don't even bother, bro. Next
join
year
the wait
we'll have
list.
we will go around the country, all that sort of stuff. But if you want your websites and marketing to be reviewed in this fashion, feel free to go to the link below in the comments and in the
Yeah.
descriptions, and we would love to be able to bring that live and add some value as much as we can. Okay, well, here's the workshop link for you to
Sorry you
sign up
missed
to.
it.
Yep, for you can sign up to a workshop that you actually can't attend, or we are going to have a wait list going very
Yeah.
very soon as well. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Cool.
Have
Awesome.
have an amazing Friday, Arvo, and weekend, and we will be back at it next week.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. All right. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.